Lugia VSTAR is one of the best decks in our format. It has been for a minute, and while it goes in and out of our top 10, some moments it just shines. Rahul Reddy, one of the best players in the world, took a particular Lugia list to a top 16 finish at Worlds, a top finish at Baltimore Regionals, and now a finalist finish at Dortmund Regionals, all with the exact same list. Something has to be going on, right? Well, it's probably the best list for Lugia we've seen in a minute. So that's what we're going to be covering over today. I myself has played Lugia to a handful of day twos when it comes to playing the deck. So I'd love to show you how to play Lugia, learn more about the strategy, and some tips and tricks along the way. Stay tuned for the list, gameplay, and more. Let's jump into it. So this is the famous list that Rahul's been running. We're going to be using Lugia VSTAR to summon those Archeops in the discard pile into play. So that's going to allow us to use our ability, accelerate some energies, but how do we get those Archeops in the discard pile? Well, it's a balancing, sequencing, or order of operations act between getting Archeops in your hand naturally or using cards such as Jacques, Ultra Ball, Capturing Aroma, and Messagoza to kind of balance what you have, and using cards like Ultra Ball, Professor's Research, or even Lugia V's Read the Wind to get them in your discard pile. Now you have a mix of attackers, and while we don't have the water energy to use Lumineon, and we only have one lightning energy to use both Iron Hands and Raikou, we do have that legacy energy that allows us to beat any energy at a time. And if you put it on a Lumineon, you could actually use Awkward Return to shuffle it back into your deck so you could reutilize some of those cards. It's not always going to be your best strategy, but it is an option. We have the 1/1 Cinccino line, allowing us to have a single prize card attacker, and that's the other big thing about this deck. Lugia VSTAR is, once you get Lugia VSTAR set up, it may or may not be your main attacker, but if you have a Cinccino with a bunch of energies knocking out anything like a Dragapult EX, or you have an Iron Hands with a legacy energy, you only have single prize card Pokemon into your deck. So one of the biggest things about this deck, and one of the reasons why it's one of the best decks in format, is because you have that legacy energy that can turn Pokemon into a single prize card Pokemon, or even less, right? You reduce the prize card trade by 1, and that's what allows you to come out of nowhere. Blood Moon Ursaluna can knock out a Pokemon V or a Pokemon EX with simplicity. Weird Ear V can take all those energies in play, put it on 1, and then of course you have the Pheasantipity and the Squawkabilly to really get that extra consistency alongside Lumineon. This deck is incredibly basic at its core. It's one of the easiest decks you could probably play, but playing the deck perfectly takes a different skill set, and playing cards in the right order, and making sure, like, did you use Archeops first before you use something like your supporters so you have a higher chance of drawing into a boss next turn? All those little things matter when it comes to playing this deck. The list is available in the description, and if you need any of the cards for this deck, check out our sponsors at Kayfabe Cards, PTCGL store. They have discount codes in the description and links to any of those. That being said, I'm excited to jump into some gameplay. If you haven't given this video a like yet, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Let's jump into that gameplay. Okay, so we're flipping the coin, and we got tails. So I think that means we won the coin flip, and yeah, Lugia blindly wants to go first. I could see against some aggressive decks that you might want to go second, just to get off that Read the Wind. But in this case, not the greatest start by any means, but it's okay. I think what I want to default start is with a single prize card Pokemon in case we're playing against an aggressive deck, and that just means starting Minccino. Honestly, no harm, no foul. I love Minccino, but I have to sacrifice something. You might notice in this deck, I have highlighted some of the more important cards, kind of as a full art or a gold card or whatever, just to make them stick out a little bit more. So if you have any questions, comments, whatever, let me know in the comment section. I think before we do anything, we want to go Capturing Aroma, see exactly what we can get. And if we get tails, we're just going to default get a Lugia V out. I think that makes the most sense. With our opponent playing a Rotom, we're probably playing against... I mean, it could be a lot of different things, to be honest. I'm honestly not sure what our opponent's playing. I'm going to go Lugia V, and I just want to double check, see if there's anything here that we're, like, missing. But it's probably not a super aggressive deck, so that's something that means we could probably put the Lugia V in the active, or just use our legacy energy on one of our Pokemon, because we're kind of at a point where it's just like, You want to what? Maybe we could go Lumineon, use Professor's Research, get set up. Also, I'm thinking about like Squawkabilly. I think this is actually one of those hands where I'm torn. Do I use Squawkabilly or do I use Lumineon? In this case, I'm probably just end up going to use Lumineon for next turn. So considering I want to probably save the Legacy Energy, I'm going to go Jet Energy onto our Lugia V, get this up in the active, just in case our opponent has something that they could potentially do. Like this could be a Terrapagos deck. They go Fan Rotom, knock out a Minccino round 1, or turn 1. It's just not what I want to see. Not gonna use Squawkabilly because I have Legacy Energy, I have Lightning Energy. I don't want to shut off my Lightning type options, and we're just gonna go ahead here and pass. So, is it the most spectacular start I've ever had? No, not at all. Is it something that is workable? Yes. And with the Heavy Ball, I'm honestly unsure what our opponent's playing. Like this could be a Snorlax deck. That's one of our better matchups. Honestly, I think this is some kind of control deck. So we're going to deal with that. I think it's one of those decks that has the Aegislash that says your Pokemon's EX and V cannot attack. I wouldn't mind just getting out Cinccino and hoping that we have a way around that, or knocking out their other Pokemon. I'm going to get set up here with this, and honestly, I don't see a world where I'm not using Lumineon here. But I don't know if I want to get rid of this hand. Like, there's no Archeops or anything like that. So I'm just going to end up using, I think, Iono here. And I'm looking at our options, like Legacy Energy, like we could attack with Iron Bundle. If we have to get through, we could attack with Cinccino. We can see our other cards. We have our Minccino prized, or our Cinccino prize. So something to consider. Do I want another Jet Energy? Probably not. Do I want a basic Lightning Energy? I could, to maybe try to get some extra cards out of my deck. I don't know if I actually need the Lightning Energy in this matchup because it doesn't seem like I need to be drawing extra prize cards, especially since I can't do that against an Aegislash. So knowing some of the metagame can help. This is a deck that's a little bit outside of it, but Lugia is typically good at beating those decks. Maybe a heavier Cinccino line would be helpful, as we've seen other players work with it. Honestly, I think we're pretty good here. Let's just go Capturing Aroma. We ended up getting the head, so we're just gonna get out the double chops. And we are big chillin' now. So let's go Ultra Ball, pitch these away. It's so bad because I just want to go Iron Bundle and really like just get set up. We can also attack with Archeops against them too, so don't like we're not out of options. When it comes to other things that I might want to grab, honestly, I don't think I'm getting knocked out anytime soon. We already out of our Lugia VSTAR. We don't have Cinccino. So I mean, maybe Iron Hands is something that I'd want to consider when it comes down to it. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just keeping it in my hands right now. I'm going to go Summoning Star, and I really don't see any reason not to just power up extra energies onto our Lugia. So let's go Primal Turbo. We have our Gift Energy. Miss Energy could be helpful. I honestly don't think they have any special attacks. I don't want to put a Double Turbo down, and the reason why I don't want to put Double Turbo down is because Double Turbo potentially could reduce, not potentially, it does reduce our damage for Tempest Dive, meaning that if they had a Rotom or a Pokemon that they just put down, like, we might not be able to get there. So I want to do 220. We're gonna get the knockout just in case they have anything else. Maybe they I don't know. 220 is usually safer than having 200, just in case I just don't know exactly what's going on with my opponent's deck. We still have our Cinccino prize, which is going to be tough because we do need to have something that can go against Aegislash. I don't know if Aegislash EX is also played in this deck, but regardless, you can see that there's things such as Mimikyu, there's things such as Honedge, and if they're struggling to get set up, we need to find answers to these Pokemon when it comes down to it. The Lumineon is like mildly annoying to bring up, but I think what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna try for Capturing Aroma. I don't want to give my opponent Messagoza because it seems like they're struggling. So here's what we're gonna go. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna grab out our other Lumineon, and what we're gonna start doing is utilizing our attackers where we possibly can. So I'm gonna use before I use Lumineon, I just want to double check with my deck, make sure I have the supporter that I'm looking for. So let's go ahead. Since we're gonna be putting it back into the deck, this is fine. I'm gonna go ahead, go Legacy Energy and the double turbo. So this is kind of what I briefly talked about. Like, you can attack with Lumineon. You may be like, okay, Zach, like whatever. I also could have double checked my deck a little bit better, but we have double Archeops. We can always make up for potential lost mistakes. I'm gonna put a gift energy and a double turbo onto my Minccino to start powering that up. And cool. So we have some energies. We can also build up some energies and play for weirdier purposes. And you can see again that I'm literally just like talk. Did not check for boss's orders, but we have 4 boss's orders. So use your opportunities to check through your deck when it comes to these things. We're gonna go boss's orders here again, still saving that iron bundle just in case we want to attack with it, right? Because we can see like our opportunities. You could attach this to any of the Pokemon, and it's prized every single type of energy, right? So we can attach Legacy Energy to an iron bundle. Our opponent's just gonna concede there. I'm going to try it another game, see exactly if we can get anything set up a little bit different. You can see how we can kind of approach different matchups, at least from this game, and just getting set up in general. So, fortunately, our opponent won the coin flip, and they decide to go first. But if we get a Lugia V, we will have an opportunity for Read the Wind. In this case, I don't see a world where Read the Wind is actually bad. I just think we want to have a Lugia V, and if we're playing against a deck that can knock out a Lugia V, we want to get out a second Lugia V. This looks like we're playing against a Charizard deck. Charizard typically is pretty good for us because we have the single prize card Cinccino that can take out a Pokemon, and we'll see how it ends up going. I mean, right now I'm feeling kind of chill in this situation. It's not perfect, but it's all right. Yep, so there's the Charmander, the Duskull, and it looks like our opponent did not have a great start when it comes down to it. I think what I'm going to end up doing is discarding some pieces. So let's go discard this, maybe go ahead and discard this. This does give us an opportunity to search out Lumineon, which can search out Jacques. I do want to draw some cards though. So you want to know what? I think what we're going to end up discarding is the double turbo and the jet energy. I don't like losing all our energies, but we don't need that many. You can see like we prize the Lumineon. We have the Cinccino this game. Let's go for an Archeops. And yeah, I think what I'm going to do is end up discarding the Archeops and probably just like I want the boss in our hands. Like sometimes when it comes to situations like this, I'll break my sequencing. Typically I like to attach energies at the end of the turn. Like I need this in play. This is matchup dependent. It just depends on which one I want to discard. Our opponent didn't have a great hand. I think I can discard the boss. And just play the Iono so I have a fresh hand. Since our opponent could potentially go Dusclops, Dusknoir, knock out our Lugia V, and we need to have Lugia VSTAR to make this deck rolling, I'm going to get down a second Lugia V, and now I'm going to play Iono. So we've cleared through our entire hand. Our opponent does end up getting an extra card, but it's not the end of the worlds. We also can't take a knockout on our first turn, so none of this matters. I want to keep capturing Aroma in our hand so we have a higher chance of getting Lugia VSTAR. Don't want to put Iron Hands down. Don't want to put Iron Bundle down yet. So I'm just going to go Read the Wind, and in this case, we did get another Archeops, so we could just discard the Archeops. So if you're going second, going for Read the Wind strategies is one of the best things you can do because you get to see more cards. Like I'm entering my turn with a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 card hand, guaranteed that I'm able to get out a Lugia VSTAR, guaranteed that, or maybe I can get out Lugia VSTAR and get out Cinccino. So if our opponent does go Rare Candy Charizard, I can respond with a knockout immediately, which is quite strong, meaning our opponent has to knock out a single prize card Pokemon. I get extra energies in play. Like, it's not perfect, and our start, like, did I really want to get rid of a boss and a jet and a double turbo? No. But I think we're in a decent enough position, at least right now. Hopefully our opponent does not knock out Minccino, because anything else is quite difficult for us to deal with. But they did use an Arven, so I'm assuming they're not going to necessarily be able to get there. A lot of the lists for Charizard are playing non-Prime Catcher, which can be tough. So there's their Lumineon. Not sure. Maybe they're going to go for a Forest Sealstone. Did they grab that off of their Arven? Yeah, they did grab Forest Sealstone. So we do know for next turn they also have the boss's orders. I would not be upset knocking out the Lumineon, by the way, for what it's worth. So we'll see exactly what our opponent does. Maybe they'll go for Prime Catcher. If they go for Prime Catcher, then I'm just going to go boss up their Lumineon. And whether we win this game or not, like, it is second against Charizard. So there's a rare candy. Okay, so, okay, rare candy Dusknoir. This is going to give us a prize card. They could knock out our Minccino with the Dusknoir. Very strong turn from our opponent, but also, like, could be difficult for them. I mean, we're both at the same prizes, so they actually can't, they can't really respond to us. Well, like, they can hit me for 210, because 180 plus the prize card drawn, but really, like, nothing crazy yet. I could go Jet Energy, Iron Hands, Boss, Knockout. Let's go for Capturing Aroma, see exactly what we can get going on here. Tails. And I think when it comes to something like this, I'm probably just looking for another card that I could discard off of our Ultra Ball so I can get out our Lugia VSTAR. And I also want to peek through our deck, so something that I was talking about last game. I just want to make sure, so we don't have our Legacy Energy. So that's something to consider when it comes to going for this play, because I'm like, if I can knock out the Lumineon, I could go 1, 2, 3 prize cards, put myself up to potentially win the game. So we're just going to go for the Squawkabilly, and we're going to get ourselves set up. Let's go Ultra Ball, still discarding these two. Still think I knock out the Lumineon, just to put ourselves in a pretty solid position. The card that I think I'm going to end up grabbing is probably just going to end up being Pheasantipity. Sorry, not Pheasantipity. We have to grab Lugia VSTAR. I'm like, something seems too good to be true here. So let's go. Lugia VSTAR goes down. Now that we have our Archeops, always double check the Archeops that you have in your discard pile. Use the Summoning Star. And Summoning Star is going to get us back Archeops. The Minccino is somewhat tempting, but we need all the energies we can in play. Since we're just knocking out a Lumineon, we can go with a double turbo energy. So let's go Primal Turbo. Let's get all the cards that we could potentially get on this Lugia. Let's go double turbo and let's go gift energy. So that sounds great. So if our opponent knocks us out, we have access to stuff. And let's use our other one to load up some more energies. So let's go ahead and go Primal Turbo, some extra energies onto maybe our other Lugia. Or maybe we'll go, yeah, I think other Lugia makes a lot of sense. So let's go Gift Energy onto Lugia. Let's put maybe a Miss Energy, because we're trying to collect energies in play for our Weirdeer, so we can maybe knock out a Charizard at the end of the game. Really not the Pokemon again. If we had the Legacy Energy, that would have been really sweet to get the knockout on the Lumineon, putting ourselves down to 2. But we are going to go Boss. And I'm going to go Boss, knockout this. And we're trying to basically win the game in 3 turns, starting now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just putting down extra cards at this point because we can. So I'm going to put down an Iron Bundle just in case I want to push anything out of the active. I am going to go ahead and put a V-Guard energy here. And again, it's just to collect things for Weirdeer, so we have those extra energies. I'm trying to clear my hand of some extra resources. And let's go for Tempest Dive 200. I know our Lugia is likely going to get knocked out. We're trying to play around our opponent's Briar by getting ourselves down to 1 prize card. You can see our Legacy Energy, like 4 energies in hand is really not what we're looking for. It'd be actually fantastic for us if our opponent played an Iono or a Reset Stamp or an Unfair Stamp, just to put ourselves down to that situation of where our energies go back into our deck. They're more usable with Archeops. That's one of the reasons why we play Iono in our deck, giving us the opportunity to kind of put those cards back. So you can see that they're a little bit concerned. Now, when it comes to how much we're going to be doing with Weirdeer, that's really where the numbers get like a little bit tough, because 330 HP it's a lot. Like it is a lot. So Weirdier does 40 times the amount of energy attached to this Pokemon, and Frontier Road, when it moves from the bench to the active spot, you can collect all those energies. So 10 energies brings us to 400. 8 energies brings us to 320. So we need to have 9 energies, and one of those energies could be a double turbo, because that's going to be 360 minus 20 is 340 damage. So when we're thinking about these situations, that's a lot of energies. But we will get there when we get there. Cinccino, not what we were looking for. So we have 1, 2, 3. Attach a 4th. We could potentially get there. Since we have 3 prize cards drawn, I think that it's best here for us to just go ahead, and I think we're gonna have to start with we might have to send up something like the Iron Bundle just so I could Legacy Energy it, because there's really nothing else that I can do, unfortunately. Like, and our opponent could pop, knock us out, go Briar, Dusknoir for game. So I think what we're actually going to be utilizing is Refrigerated Stream. It's an evolution Pokemon. It can't attack during our next turn. I think that's what I'm going to end up going for. We also can go for our play with Weirdier if we get there. I'll take the extra HP in play. Let's go for this Primal Turbo play. It's not perfect. I'm going to put a double Turbo Energy onto this Pokemon. And we can't really like just pitch our hand of energies. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And in order for our opponent to win the game, they would have to go like pop this. They'd have to go pop their Duskull, we draw a prize card, Counter Catcher or Prime Catcher, bring up our Lugia VSTAR, knock it out. Certainly a possibility. Or they could just go knock out like Rare Candy, Dusknoir, knock out Iron Bundle, whatever. But I'm hoping that this throws our opponent off enough. And maybe next turn I'll be able to get out the amount of energies that I want. So let's just go double turbo. Because nothing else here really matters at this point. We're just trying to maybe slow the game down by a turn. So unfortunately, we're going to use Refrigerated Steam. It seems like we just keep on drawing in energies. And we had some tough prizing. But we are trying to bring it back here. It doesn't look like our opponent has a lot of great options. So Iron Bundle is a potential attacker in this deck. Not our greatest attacker, but it exists to some degree. With our opponent playing Pidgeotto, I also assume they're playing either Technical Machine Evolution, which we haven't seen, or Grand Tree. So we'll have to see how this plays out. And it looks like our opponent, if they don't have the Dusclops, this might just be really beneficial for us. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It says the defending Pokemon, it can't attack during your next turn. So I just want to double check with Earth and Vessel, see exactly what we might have left into this deck. I think no matter what, like, I'm just going to be pitching Cinccino, because it just doesn't matter. We do have a Lightning Energy left into our deck, and I think what I'm going to do is end up just pitching our hands, seeing what we could do, but I need to stop our opponent again if we can't attack. Like, we have no attack that gets the knockout here, like 220 damage does nothing. So let's go ahead and use our Primal Turbo. I might as well take the extra energy onto our Lugia VSTAR. Let's go ahead and go Jet Energy onto Iron Bundle. So this means that we could potentially attack while it looks like our opponent's having a bit of a slower setup. And I'm just going to go for Professor's Research because there's nothing else that we can do. We can't attach basic energies when it comes down to anything. So that is something to consider. We can hit for 240, but that doesn't really get us anywhere. And we actually don't even have the energy to attack. So let's go ahead and go Nest Ball here. Nest Ball, searching our deck for the Weirdier. The Weirdier is going to allow us to retreat and utilize its ability. We do need some energies onto this Pokemon to make that happen. So before we do that count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And since we already did the damage with Charizard, I am just going to go retreat. I'm probably going to save some of my energies, and I'm probably just going to take them all off of our iron bundle. So let's go retreat. Let's retreat with the jet energy, and let's grab our energies from iron bundle first. So doing some quick math, this is going to be 40, 100, and we're at 160. So let's start working down. 200. 260, 300, 340. And I'm going to lock that in as my final answer. So this is 280 plus the 80 is going to do enough damage. I don't want to use bundle. We don't have any other extra energies when it comes to anything else in play. I'm just going to go ahead and go 280, knocking out our opponent's active. So we are able to use the Weird Ear. Our plan with Iron Bundle worked. And my plan to win this game is if our opponent does anything, like they knock out the Weird Ear, they don't win the game. They need to be able to basically pop, like they have to do a lot of stuff in order to win this game, in my opinion. Or at least get Rare Candy, Charizard, Briar off. And it doesn't look like that's what they have going on. If they have to get Rare Candy, Charizard. All right, they can even go Briar because I'm at 1 prize card now. We did draw those 2 prize cards, putting us in a really good position. So right now, Weird Ear has game on board. Our opponent cannot get out of this situation at all. And you can totally tell that I'm a new dad, by the way. If anyone's a parent watching this video or has a little brother or sister, you probably hear in the background. Yeah, it looks like our opponent's probably going through all their things. If they had a Pidgeot EX, I'm assuming they'd be slamming that down. Right now, it looks like our opponent's just waiting things out because they just don't have it. Or they're really trying to just think with that PTCG timer going out and they're just going to concede. So you can lock your opponent out of states, and like, let's say we only have the 1 energy left. The reason why I left the energy on the Archeops is because we could have retreated the Archeops into our Blood Moon, attached an energy boss game with the Lumineon we had. And if they had a big 2-prizer Pokemon in the active like Charizard, we had the Iron Bundle. So I protected ourselves as much as possible, and if they didn't knock out our Weird Ear, then we have Weird Ear. Or if they do knock out Weird Ear, we do have Gift Energy, even if they played Unfair Stamp or Iono. So you can see, we have ways to checkmate our opponents when it comes to this deck. And there's different ways you can play it than just being Lugia, attack 2 prizers, 2-prizer, 2-prizer, 2-prizer. Some games do go in depth. I honestly thought that those games that I played were a great showcase when it came to this Lugia VSTAR deck. Well, you're not going to use every single card, and I mean, we didn't see Raikou, the Iron Hands didn't come out due to some prizing issues. It's one of those things where this deck certainly has the capabilities to go the distance, and we've seen Rahul do it. So I think it's really one of those times to put your head down, play some Lugia, see some success, and if that's how it works out, that's how it works out. Not every single matchup's going to be perfect, but Lugia is one of the best decks in format. So continuously try it out, continuously see what's going on with the deck. And I mean, maybe Thorns is going to start popping up a little bit more now. But it is one of those things where we can try to avoid those matchups just by our win-loss ratio. And if you end up hitting a poor matchup, it is what it is. Hopefully you learned a thing or two when it comes to this video. Even if you didn't, I appreciate y'all watching all the way up into this point. If you're looking to improve your gameplay, I do offer coaching on Metafy, so hit me up for some coaching sessions. Beyond that, I will catch up with all y'all later. I got to deal with the little baby back there. She's a little, I think it's lunchtime for her, so that's the plan. But I will catch up with all y'all later. Peace out and have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from the Shuffle Squad. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate each and every person that supports our content, watches what we have going on every single day, every single week, even from time to time, and continuously allows us to have a forum to project our creative content towards the Pokemon TCG community. So if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and even leave a comment to help boost the YouTube algorithm. That being said, we'll catch you with our next video. Thanks again. Take it easy.